And you could put it in a padded envelope and send it on its way and make $10 to $15 profit after shipping, after costs on every single one. Everyone in the Bolo group was after this hunt, and we all made a lot of profit. So this is your reminder. This is your flag to say now is the time that you want to start doing FBM. Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. I'm a small town girl who took a big risk and quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew a 7-figure business, visited all the lower 48 states, bought a farm, and today I am still doing what I love to do, selling on Amazon while helping other sellers do it too. Each week, I will share Amazon tips and tricks and bring in guests to share their stories, expertise, and tips on the platforms that they use. Think of this as a sit down with your Amazon bestie where you can learn, ask, start, and grow your online selling business. Welcome to Your Selling Pod. Hey crew, and welcome back. On today's episode, I'm going to be walking through mistakes and missteps of doing FBM. Now, if you're not familiar with me, I have only just recently, well, not recently, I guess it was maybe 2020, really gotten into FBM. I have always done, since I started selling on Amazon in 2017, been doing FBA. And so with traveling in an RV around the country and having to hold inventory myself, because that's what FBM is, where I hold it and then I send it to the customer, I didn't really get into FBM a whole lot. But during 2020, there was some hot items that were selling real fast, and so I had to learn FBM kind of on the fly and get real comfortable with it. Most of my FBM right now is done during Q4. I am doing it throughout the year now that I have, a shed where I can hold some stuff and I'm more stationary. I can hold supplies. So I am doing a lot more FBM now, but originally it's mostly just during Q4 because I'm usually stationary during Q4 anyways. So that's just some of my RV travel tidbits. But regardless of that, when Q4 rolls around, which we are getting ready, we're getting into that prep stage of it right now. When it starts to roll around, you are going to want to be doing FBM. So if you don't currently do FBM because you are scared or you're new or you've just not even started selling on Amazon yet, hopefully this episode can help you learn what not to do or what mistakes I've made so that you don't do them. And hopefully come out of this excited to give FBM a try. Now, why FBM really matters during Q4 specifically is because with FBA, you have to send your stuff in that is holiday specific. I'm not talking toys sell year round, but you have to send in your stuff, say it's Christmas themed or it's Thanksgiving themed or Halloween themed. You have to send it in pretty much a month or longer in advance for it to do its whole FC transfer around the warehouses. So what that means is you can no longer sell those hot items if you're only going to do FBA because you've missed that FBA cutoff. By the time it gets there and is available and will ship out to the customer, it is probably going to be after the holiday if you've waited too long. But with FBM, you can continue to sell stuff all the way up until you can no longer get it to the customer before the holiday, which is usually that week of. So you have a lot more profit potential during Q4 by doing FBM. In fact, it was in the Q4 group in 2021, which really set me off on my brand new enthusiastic FBM life because there was a hot chase that everyone in the Bolo group was chasing because it made crazy profit and it was just too good to pass up. And so naturally, I learned it on the fly. I learned how to do FBM for this item. It was a tech deck item, and you could put it in a padded envelope and send it on its way and make $10 to $15 profit after shipping, after costs on every single one. Everyone in the Bolo group was after this hunt, and we all made a lot of profit. So Q4 is when, in the Bolo group, we're always sharing stuff, especially that Q4 group, and we're all making profit together. So again, this is your reminder. This is your flag to say now is the time that you want to start doing FBM. Last thing I'm going to say on why you want to do it before we get into the mistakes is that if you've watched my videos on YouTube, my YouTube channel is at Nikki Kirk, so NIKKIKARK. On that video earlier this year, I did a video of my best products ever and my best products of 2022. So 2 different videos. But I talk about how so many of them are FBM. And again, it's because you can make that profit quickly by being able to send it, get those orders. If you're going to do FBA, which again, that's like 90% of my business. So it's not that I don't do FBA. But if you're going to do FBA, you have to buy it, you send it to Amazon, it takes a while to get there, and then it's going to sell, right? That's like weeks to a month of time. But with FBM, I can list it in store today and I can sell it today. So there's that instant kind of it's working aspect of it that is so addicting. And because I keep getting it, making those sales same day or within the week that I bought it, you can go get more of it really fast. And now you know, and you can chase that item down. And so that is how FBM ends up being some of my best profit, my best products of all time. If you're interested in the Q4 Bolo group, that group is going to open again during Q4. I'm thinking it's going to open in August, but definitely stay tuned. Join my mailing list to know exactly when the doors open because we're going to get that rocking and rolling. I also have the regular Bolo group that is open year round. You can join that anytime. It's at yoursellingguide.com/Bolo to learn more or sign up. I would be happy to have you in the group. Okay, so now all the mistakes that I've made over the years to help you not do them, hopefully. Now, mistakes are part of business and it's how you learn, but here's some that hopefully you can just learn from mine and not make yourself. So, not having the right supplies for FBM can really add a lot of stress to your life, and you're like already stressed that you got to get this order out, and then you don't have the box or the supplies or the label or whatever it is, you don't have it, and so that just adds extra stress. So whenever I talk to new sellers who are thinking about FBM or interested in dabbling in it, I always recommend having the supply on hand before you ever list it. So that means if you're going to list something in store, which if you're, again, new to FBM, maybe you don't want to list in store, but we'll get to that in a second. But if you're going to list it in store, what I usually do is I'll head over. So say I find a toy at Walmart, I'll go right into that shipping area where they have the boxes and the envelopes, and I will see what envelope will fit that item. And if there's boxes, I'll like literally put the box together and make sure it fits in there before I ever list it, because nothing is worse than having your item sell and now you have to stress out. And if you don't live close to somewhere where you can go get a supply easy, you got to figure out how to get a box or a padded envelope or whatever. And I don't know if you've ever looked at UPS to buy a box, but they are expensive if you're in the store. Crazy. I can't believe anyone actually buys them. It's like $5-6 for a box. So you don't want to do that, right? Because it's going to eat up all your profit. So definitely making sure you have the supplies on hand ahead of time will make your life a lot easier. Other supplies that are nice to have on hand are the free supplies from the post office, so USPS. You actually can get free supplies from UPS as well. If you make a free business account with UPS, you can go into their tools, shipping tools, supplies area, and you can get free boxes. You can get free labels if you have a thermal printer. I have a Rollo, but there's a lot of variety of thermal printers. You can get those 4x6 labels right there. I have a box of 1,000 of them that I got from UPS, so that should last me for the rest of the year, I think. I think I'm good. But you can get those kind of free supplies there. If you're looking on ups.com, when you're signed into your business account, they are called security boxes. So there's not actually a photo of them, but last I looked, you scroll all the way to the bottom and they're called security boxes. There's two sizes. There's like a 9x6 and like a 12x9 or something maybe. But those are the boxes that you can get for free. They don't have any labeling on them whatsoever. They're just a cardboard box. Occasionally, UPS will run out of stuff, so you might just have to check back in. Like the box of, I have the flat folded Rollo printer labels, and they no longer had those last I looked, and they only had the ones that are on the roll, which heck, it's still a free, label. I'm going to take it if that's all they have. But there's different things. So sometimes the security boxes might be sold out or they may not have them. So just check back in if when you're looking, they don't have it at that time. Now, this goes for the UPS and USPS, post office. So if you're going to get the free boxes from the post office, they're like flat rate or priority, or the flat rate padded envelopes that are priority mail from the post office. You want to make sure that the thing that you are sending, so if you're going to buy the shipping on Amazon and it's priority, it needs to be, there's multiple flat rate envelopes, okay? So there's like a legal size one, there's a letter size one, and those are just the thin cardboard ones. And then they have the padded one. Whichever one you are picking to ship in, make sure you're buying that exact same item shipping label, right? So you can't buy the padded envelope, or you can't buy, because it's cheaper, you can't buy the flat rate envelope and put it in a padded flat rate envelope. That's a different price. It's a different envelope. So just be aware of what you're picking. If you're going to pay for the medium priority flat rate box, you need to pay for the right label that matches that. You can't use a priority envelope and ship it first class. So first class is the cheapest way you can ship, but once it gets over £1, you can no longer do first class. So I say all these things because I've seen them happen in the group, and they will just get sent right back to you, meaning your customer is not getting it. You can't ship media mail if the item is not media. So I'm not totally sure because I don't do media mail, but it has to be, last I checked from back when I used to do textbooks way back in the day, it has to be a book, a CD, a DVD, or whatever else USPS, I would head there and look, considers media. So that means you can't send lotions, shampoos, because oftentimes it's cheaper to send media mail. That's why people pick that. But what media mail is way slow. Like it could take 2 to 3 weeks to get to the customer. So I would never, unless you're actually shipping a book and your shipping template says to the customer you're not going to get it for like a month, I would not do media mail because it doesn't really get there in time. But either way, I just want you to take away. So if you're going to use a USPS express or overnight box or envelope, it has to match that same. You have to have done UPS overnight or express envelope. You know what I mean? Just make sure that the thing matches. Otherwise, you're going to have it sent right back to you, meaning your customer didn't get it, and now you've got to refund it or let them know like it's going out again. It's not a good experience. Okay, so having the right supplies, that is mistake number 1. So just make sure when you're going to start, I know it might seem overwhelming. You don't need a lot of supplies, but you need to have at least the one. It could just be a padded envelope. You just have to get a padded envelope. Or you could be, you want to get a lot of boxes, so you have a lot of boxes on hand to choose from. Whatever it is, just make sure you have the right supplies. Now, this next mistake is something that I keep making. You'd think I'd learn, but here I am still making it. It is not adding in the time of the day that I'm going to pack up the shipments, meaning I might have 10 orders to pack up for FBM that day, and I won't even factor that in. Example, today I have 4. I've yet to pack them up today, but I need to go do that as soon as I'm done recording this because they have to get out today. So sometimes I just think, oh, I can pack those up real quick, and it actually takes an hour. And we're all busy. We all have a lot of stuff going on in our lives, and that hour is like something that if you didn't plan for it can really derail the rest of your day because it pushes everything back and around. So make sure if you're going to do FBM, just have that time every day, whether you do it in the morning, you do it at night. If you have your shipping template set up to where you only ship, you have 2 days of handling time, that means if you sell something on Monday, you don't have to ship it till Wednesday. So if you're new, I would recommend doing that just to make sure. You can have your handling times be same day, 1 day, or 2 day. I've had mine for the last year as 1 day. So I know anything I sell 1 day today, I have to ship it out by tomorrow. So just having that with your time in mind, having that handling time set to something that you can actually do and account for that time, because that is something like I said, I still make that mistake today, and it's so dumb. You'd think I would know, but here I am scrambling every day to send out my orders. There's nothing quite like that sound of a new order coming through on your Amazon account. But do you know how much you're actually making on those orders? Your Selling Podcast is excited to partner with Sellerboard. Sellerboard is an accurate profit analytics for Amazon sellers as well as eBay. With just a quick login to the app or your dashboard on a desktop, you can see what your true numbers are for all of your Amazon orders by the day, week, or month. I love to use it to forecast out how I'm going to do that month and use it for my planning. Sellerboard doesn't just tell you your profit, though. They actually do so much more. So if you're creating a private label listing or you're making your own bundles, you can use Sellerboard to get reviews for your product pages. Sellerboard is a robust profit analytics tool, and I use it every day in my Amazon business. You can try Seller Board yourself, connect it to your Amazon or eBay accounts, and see how it works for you. Get 2 months free by going to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit. Again, that's yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit. Try Seller Board today and get the true profit picture of how your business is doing. Now, another mistake I've made that I didn't know it was a mistake until I knew it was a mistake, if that makes any sense. Well, I did not use UPS pickup for years and years and years. So even since I've been stationary, I only just started during last Q4 to use UPS pickups to schedule not only my FBM pickups, but also my FBA shipments. So where I'm living, I am 40 minutes from the closest Staples or UPS store or anywhere I can drop a UPS shipment, which means that's an hour, an hour and a half, let's say, of my time just to drive to drop off my shipments and my FBM orders. The good thing is the post office is only 5 minutes away, so I typically will just pay the $1 more or whatever it tends to be. Sometimes it's only 10 cents more, but sometimes it's $1 more to send stuff through the post office versus UPS. But now that I know I can actually do a pickup, the UPS guy comes, he picks up my stuff, and all I do is schedule it through Pirate Ship. So Pirate Ship, you can have a free account and you would just load it up. So I load it up with $20, and every time I do a pickup, which is maybe twice a week, I don't do it all that much, but whenever I have a pickup, it costs me $6.50. Other sellers, it costs $4.50. I don't know if it's because I'm really rural or what, but it costs me a little more to do a pickup. But it's still worth it, especially if I've got, 400 pounds of an FBA shipment. I don't really want to be loading that in the truck and driving it and unloading it and taking it to the store. So those UPS pickups are huge. If you live far away from a post office, on Pirate Ship, you can actually do post office pickups. The USPS will come pick up your orders for free. You just schedule it through Pirate Ship. Now, you can also schedule a pickup through the UPS if you have your business account, but it costs more. I don't know why. So it costs more, so I don't do it through there. I do it through Pirate Ship. Another mistake I've made, and I've seen other people make, is not charging enough for shipping. So this involves really dialing in those shipping templates. When you're just starting, can be super overwhelming. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to show you my shipping template, my free one, as well as my ground. I have a free ground, which charges for standard shipping, and I think I actually have expedited. Maybe not. But the one I use free ground is for anything that's large, and I don't want to pay more to ship because I know it's going to cost more if I do expedited. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will show you my flat rate $4.99 one. I don't really use that a whole lot, but sometimes I do. So what can happen if you don't charge enough for shipping is obviously you're going to have to pay that shipping difference if the customer didn't cover it, or if you're offering free shipping and you underestimated how much it's going to cost. Well, you can lose all your profit real fast if you don't have those shipping templates dialed in. So when you're creating your shipping template, there's a little toggle, which you don't see it at first. When you're first starting a shipping template, it's going to pop up this little pop-up that's select all the different services. And it has FedEx and UPS and all these different services there. I just exit out of that. And then you'll see there's a toggle at the top right under the shipping template's name. There's a little toggle. You want to toggle that off. Because if that's on, it's a new thing Amazon rolled out about a year ago. And it has where it tells the customer when they're going to get it, a better date or something. I don't know. I just have it off. And the reason is if you have it on, sometimes the 2-day and overnight is automatically on your shipping template. And you guys, I do not have those on any of my shipping templates because I am not going to try. I'm not that dialed in with my FBM that I want to offer 2-day or next day, because those shipping prices, even on a small product, can be upwards of $40 to $60. And again, that's not something I'm going to take the hit on. And I don't know necessarily how much it's going to be, so I don't charge that on my shipping template. Now, of course, you could definitely charge a lot on shipping template, and that was going to be my next piece of advice, is to make sure you're overcharging more than what you probably think it's going to be, just to make it safe. So when you're starting out, you always have to have, you don't always have to have free, but free is a good template that you should start with, because free is going to make Amazon show you in the featured offer buy box more than if you charge. you can charge for shipping. So my free shipping template is free economy, which is the slowest way. Then I charge $4.99 for standard, which again would go the same as the free, but sometimes people like to pay because it tells them on Amazon they're going to get it a day or two earlier, and they would have got it at the same time if they just did the free. But heck, if they're going to pay for it, that covers my shipping, and now I'm going to make more profit on it. Then I have the expedited, and the expedited I overcharge. Sometimes during Q4, I overcharge even more because I want to make sure I'm covered. So I'm not sure what it is at the moment because I'm recording this and I'm not looking at my Amazon account, but I think I had it at $18.99 plus 99 cents a pound for expedited. And all expedited means is it's going to get there a little faster. So I could still send it UPS ground sometimes, or it might need to be 2-day, or maybe it's just priority mail. You can actually make money on the shipping. Not that you want to necessarily. It's not like what I set out to do, but sometimes it works out like that where you might make $1 to $5 just on the shipping because the customer is paying for that shipping, right? Only on my free template, if they choose free, do they get, free shipping, and I'm the one buying the shipping. I do factor that in when I'm buying and listing the product. I make sure there's enough profit in it to cover that free shipping. That is one error that I see sometimes is people assume that it is going to be maybe $5 to ship and really it costs $10 to ship. And so now you've lost all your profit. A lot of this just comes with trial and error. So set up a template, get a couple orders under your belt, and figure out where you need to adjust. Should you be charging more? Should you be charging less? Figure out that sweet spot because that is really going to help factor into you winning the buy box. Another mistake that is kind of easy to make with FBM is not actually making any money. So if you're not totally into your numbers or you don't have a software that's telling you how much you make, it's kind of confusing on Amazon to see how much you actually made on that sale. So when you sell something, you'll get the email like sold, ship now, and it will have the breakdown of how much money you got from the sale. And at that point, after you buy the shipping and you know how much your item costs, you can kind of figure out, did you make any money on that sale? I've talked about this a couple times, so maybe you've heard it, but in January of this year, there was a cold medicine shortage, so I was selling cold medicine. I had a couple that I didn't necessarily know how much it was going to cost to ship, and so I had them listed, only 4 of them, and they all sold, and I shipped them all, and I made 25 cents. Not great. Not worth my time and energy, right? So I use Seller Board to figure out and see all of my real true profit on the items that I'm selling. So in Seller Board, I could see that I only made 25 cents. So I stopped buying that item, right? The other cold medicines I did make money. I replanned and sold more of them, but that one was like, yep, nope, not selling that. If you don't know if you're really making money, you could just be running in circles working on this whole system, selling FBM and not actually making money doing it. So you want to make sure that you know you're doing whatever accounting software. I love Sellerboard. I always recommend it. They have 2 months free if you want to try it. You can get it at yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit, or I always have it linked in the show notes. But you want to make sure you know, are you making money? Sellerboard's awesome because it pulls in the fees, it pulls in the shipping that you paid for it, all of that pulls in so you can see by item what you're making money on or not. But you definitely want to make sure that you know if you're making money or not. If you don't know, again, what are you doing it for? For fun? You want to know if you're making money on something. That is a mistake I actually see time and time again. I've made it myself. I've sold stuff and realized, ooh, shoot, I didn't actually make any money on that. And so I stop selling it or I take them back. But wanting to know, you need to know if you're making money on this, you guys. Otherwise, why are you doing it? A huge win that we had this year is finally Amazon got rid of it in the Amazon Seller app. That shipping credit that no one actually ever got, but that confused everyone because it looked like you were going to not have to pay for shipping or you got some kind of credit, but you really didn't. So now that that's gone, FBM is a lot easier in the Seller app. So if you were worried or confused, just know that that is gone. It should have rolled out to all sellers now. So you don't have that part to worry about, and you can actually estimate your profits a whole lot easier. So those are some of the mistakes that you want to avoid and not make like I did. So planning your time, having the supplies, making sure you're charging enough for shipping, making sure you're making money on the products that you're selling, and utilizing those free services that are going to come and pick up your orders for you. If you are listening to this and you are scared to do FBM, I want to encourage you to just do it. Everything is scary when you first started. This podcast was terrifying for me to do. My very first YouTube video, terrifying for me to do. But I did it anyways, and it's so much easier now. Everything's scary in the front, but I promise it's not that scary. And if you make a mistake, you're going to learn from it. So definitely get out there and try FBM. Let me know that you did. Comment either on Instagram or here on YouTube at Your Selling Podcast or at Your Selling Guide. Let me know if you've tried FBM and how it went. I made a lot of profit doing FBM, some of my best products, so it is actually worth it. So hopefully this is the encouraging nudge you need to just get out there and try it. Try it with something small, lightweight, fits in a padded envelope, under a pound, and just estimate that it's going to cost $6 to ship, and then go find that product and give it a try. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I so appreciate when you leave me a review wherever you are listening or watching this podcast. It means a lot to me, so thank you so much. If you would like to be on the podcast, I am so loving interviewing guests and getting to know everyone's stories about selling on Amazon or selling on eBay, Poshmark, wherever it is that you sell online. I want to talk to you. So hit me up at podcast@yoursellingguide.com if you would like to be on the podcast. Until next week, happy sourcing.